And I'll call this meeting of the Champaign-Urbana Cable and Telecommunications Commission to order on Thursday, January 15th at 3:35 p.m. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Certainly. Commissioner Foster?
Here.
Chair Folk?
Present.
Commissioner Cinder?
Here.
Commissioner Rosales?
Here.
Commissioner Walker is absent. Commissioner Lukeman?
Here.
And Commissioner Wadsworth.
Present.
And also present are representatives from AT&T and Comcast today.
Excellent. Are there any modifications to or approvals of the agenda? I mean, modifications to the agenda that anyone would like to propose? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve it?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. Moving on to approval of the minutes.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? Does anybody want more time to look through? All right. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. The minutes are approved. Just to be clear, that's the minutes from our October 16th, 2014 meeting. Moving on to correspondence.
I have included in your packet the single complaint, cable complaint that Urbana received during the past quarter. And I'll let Jeff tell you about the complaints from Champaign. In addition to those, there's several instances of correspondence back and forth between, I think, Chair Folk and several citizens that I've included in your packets here, and some materials that Commissioner Cinder sent along concerning UC2B and ITV3. And then in addition, not in your packet, but because I got it after I made the packet, a note from Comcast concerning channel lineup changes taking place in 2015. So, Jeff, do you want to?
Sure. The cable complaints for Champaign are in your packet as well. There were 9 for the quarter, and I believe all of them but one have been resolved. The one that hasn't yet been resolved isn't very old, if I'm not mistaken. And then I also just wanted to make a comment about what Jake had referenced, the channel lineup change. That both cities get notices from Comcast or UVerse about package changes, channels moving, those kinds of things. The city of Champaign gets those as well, and those do go on our website, the city's website, in the Cable Commission section. So those are available the day I receive them for anybody to read. The city's website, ci.champaign.il.us, and then just search for Cable Commission.
With regard to the communications that I had with constituents, and I wanted to specifically thank Art from Comcast for basically resolving all of those in an extremely expeditious manner. He's so really thanks a lot. By the time people get to talking with me, they're pretty worked up, and the ability for me to reach out and have you de-escalate the situation is very appreciated. So thank you to Art from Comcast for that.
One of the things I noticed in reviewing the Champaign complaints was there was a sort of continuing theme of Comcast representatives referring customers to the city of Champaign rather than just taking care of the situation. And I hope that Art can perhaps address that a little bit during his presentation.
Okay. So with regard to the channel changes, I noticed that one was the subject of one of the complaints from Champaign with regard to WGN. It sounds like WGN has been moved out of the basic tier and is now available on a few of the other tiers. So people may have missed that. Is that accurate, Art?
Unlimited basic, the most basic lineup, WGN is no longer part of that lineup, but every lineup above that is available. Really that stems from WGN wanting to become more of a cable network than a superstation, and it kind of stemmed from that.
So just since that wasn't mic'd, Art clarified that WGN is now available, is now no longer available on the limited basic, which is the absolute lowest tier of service, but is available on all others, and that stems basically from WGN's change probably in their rate structure to Comcast and wanting to become a more cable-oriented station. So is that right? Okay. Any other comments on the correspondence?
Yeah, I would just note that Comcast is not the only provider to bump WGN. They were also bumped by Dish on certain of their packages as well.
Any other comments on the correspondence from the commission? Okay. Moving on to unfinished business, amendment of commission rules and regulations. My understanding was that we'll be seeing that next time. Is that
Yeah,
right?
probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then on to reports. I don't think we have any committee reports, so a staff report.
I'll start, I guess. Our major activity over the past quarter involved upgrading our Nexus automation system. It was several years past its projected life, and it was beginning to crumble. And thanks to Jason's wizardry, the transition went as smoothly as it could possibly have gone. And we're very happy with the new system. We have continued to bring Urbana High School sports on a weekly basis to our audience. We'll be working with Urbana Park District's Splash After School program in February, bringing kids in to do some stuff. And we'll be at the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. countywide celebration tomorrow in conjunction with staff from CGTV to record that, and that will air on UPTV Saturday night at 8 p.m., Sunday night at 10:30 p.m., and 3 times on King Day on Monday. So that's about it.
Can you clarify the location of the actual celebration? Do you know it?
Yeah, it's at the Hilton Garden Inn, Friday, January 16th at 4 p.m.
So if you want to be on local TV, you could either show up here next meeting or go to the Hilton Garden Inn.
Offhand, do you know what you upgraded your Nexus system to? Was it just newer Nexus or a totally different?
Jason, are you available as a disembodied voice?
I can email Jason at a later date with my query.
Well, we stayed with SD because that enabled us to afford it. And it also enabled us to obtain a PEG vault, which will allow us to broadcast live via the internet, which we were not able to do before, or next to live.
UI7's been a little twitchy lately, so
Uh-huh.
we might be investing in a similar situation.
Yeah, it didn't make sense for us to go HD since our transmissions are SD. Well, our studio equipment's HD, but we were able to save money on the transmission end and put it to more content, which made sense to us. So.
I'll mention that I don't have the information handy anymore because it's been too long since the UPTV meeting, but in our last UPTV meeting, we had a great recap of what's available where on UPTV and the kind of content that that you can find on YouTube or on the city website and that kind of thing. So if you want to go to the UPTV website and look for the last UPTV commission meeting, you could get a recap of that information. And I at least found it interesting to find that.
Thank you. For the City of Champaign and Champaign Government Television, we've been just heavily involved in the HD conversion and the HD project. Those of you that are familiar with our project, starting last summer, August, we started installation of an HD broadcast system, including playback for CGTV. As those who are used to technology know, that project is still ongoing, meaning we got a punch list that we're working through. But we've been on the air in HD for 3 or 4 months now. That's going very well. We're on the air. Let me rephrase. We're live streamed in HD, and then on UVerse and Comcast, we are down converted to standard definition, which is what type of channel that we have as a PEG channel. But everything up to that point where we dumb it down is HD, so it really looks beautiful in our control room. You should come and take a look at that. And our live stream is also in HD. So we spent a lot of time on that project, tweaking it, working on bugs and how to use the new equipment. It's an entirely new system. And we also went through our entire library and converted all of our standard definition videos to HD. Not an improvement in quality, but at least all of the file sizes, resolutions are all the same, and the video server that we put in is capable of playing. It's an HD video server, and it can, on the fly, up-convert the standard def to HD. We found that just by running them through an editing program and taking the time to crunch it, it's a much better product than just letting it do it on the fly. So we invested several months upgrading our library to that. As far as productions, because we did spend most of our time on the HD conversions, we worked on, again, in partnership with Urbana, in this case, the Champaign-Urbana International Humanitarian Awards program, which would have been last fall. We take the lead on the edit on that, and Urbana helped with the video work on that as well. And then we produced a series of winter greetings that we played around the holidays, just the city manager and the city council and other departments thanking the public, encouraging them to shop locally, and those kinds of positive messages that happen to be around the holiday season. And we're also currently working on a kind of a documentary about the history of Green Street and how the changes that have been made there from a city infrastructure perspective have given that area a new life. And we're about halfway through that production.
Very interesting. I caught those the PSAs from the city officials and city employees, and they're pretty funny. So if they're not still airing, are they?
No, we pulled those off after New Year's.
Oh well, too bad. Looks like you missed him. Anyone have any questions for Jeff? Does UI7 or Parkland?
Yeah. So since the last meeting, we've had a few interesting programs on UI7. One thing is the student news team did a 6-hour live election broadcast, which was pretty interesting. Especially, they did about 5 to 10 minutes on the hour every hour through midnight, and the students did a great job on that. And kind of related to that, it should be exciting this up-and-coming semester because there are actually enough broadcast journalism students that we'll be having a third live broadcast every week. So we'll have 3 live broadcasts at 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, each and every week, starting up in February, whenever John Paul decides the students are ready for air. And I believe the lower grade broadcast journalism class, the intro broadcast journalism class, is going to, for the first time ever, be doing regular live broadcasts. So it should be a lot of the UI7 Richmond studio, but it should be great. And I can't wait to see when the younger kids have more live live experience, how that trickles up, and should be a fun year. On a side note, for anybody interested in local video production, I'd like to mention in February, starting up, is the 3rd annual Pens to Lens student screenwriting competition, which I'm involved in and a lot of local video producers are involved in. And it's a K through 12 screenwriting competition where over the month of February, students are asked to make scripts up to 5 pages, and then local filmmakers turn them into films. Last year, I think we had a 1,400-person crowd at the Virginia Theater, red carpet gala, and it was a great experience. I think we had 150 scripts submitted, and we turned them into 22 short films.
Wow.
And then the kids got dressed up on the red carpet, and they had movie posters made and all sorts of stuff. So, penstolens.com for that.
Does any of that show up on UI7?
Yeah, we've bundled the final films together. We've done some interviews with the students, like the screenwriters, but we really haven't had time to package them into anything, so we might be doing that if we have some downtime for some of my student workers, some of my college student workers.
One more quick question regarding the
Sure.
live stuff. What do those consist of, the live broadcasts from the
Sure.
journalism
So
students?
UI7 News does kind of a full-featured mirror of local television in that it's a combination of live at-the-desk reporting, which set up the location shoots where we have reporters that go out and film interviews, film B-roll, package those, and turn them around in time for the next broadcast. And then we also have a green screen for weather, and I believe they repackage some national content like national entertainment news or gossip news and stuff like that at the end. So it kind of gives students a full range. Every newscast, we have 2 different anchors, so everybody takes a turn being an anchor, everybody takes a turn at the various stages of the control room, everybody takes a turn going out in field reporting, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Sounds great. So as I mentioned, one of the things from our last UPTV meeting was a summary of what's available where, both live and on demand. Can you give us a breakdown on that for UI7?
Sure. So we have a live stream that I've kind of only been pointing out on request because it's a lower bit rate, so it's been mostly for parents. But that live stream's available on the UI7 webpage on Public Affairs, which is the umbrella where the channel falls. So if you just search for University of Illinois UI7, it'll be one of the first or second links that pop up. Other than that, campus programming is very spread out. We have a YouTube channel called Illinois 1867, and almost everything on there airs on UI7, but it's really a mix of promotional material, some event capture lecture stuff, some history segments, and apart from that, there's probably about 20 other YouTube channels that are run by various university departments. And UI7 pulls a lot from those departments. Most of it's very short-form content, but sometimes there's interesting lectures and things like that. And then Student News has a Vimeo page. So if you search for UI7 News, thankfully no one else has that moniker, but that should come up pretty quick.
Okay, interesting.
Pretty much business as usual at Parkland as far as programming goes. Just kind of producing our normal shows that we do, preparing for the Parkland Challenge that will take place in April, our high school quiz bowl tournament. So we're getting the date set for that. Got to send out the invitations to the schools, and of course, writing questions is always fun for that. So we're preparing for that. We have a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going on, like equipment-wise. We upgraded to editing-wise. Me and my coworker who produces video, we upgraded to Final Cut Pro X. So we're just using that more, learning the differences between that and old Final Cut. And we also got a TriCaster. So we got that hooked up. It's interesting because our studio is used by the classes at Parkland as well, the video classes. So we now currently have the TriCaster hooked up so that the old equipment is still working because the faculty is not prepared to teach the TriCaster yet. So probably next fall when the video classes begin, we'll probably be integrating the TriCaster more into the classes as well as us using it. I'm learning it myself and going to be using it for doing some lectures and some concerts and some sporting events this spring. And then the other exciting thing we have going on is we are in the process. There's a group at Parkland called AMP. It's Applied Media Promotions, but basically it's a marketing firm at Parkland that's made up of students, and they take on projects. So they've developed a new logo for PCTV, and they're in the process of developing a new website for us. So again, that's probably by the time everything gets done with that, the website target is to be done by the end of the spring semester. So we probably will do a big push on that next fall when the students come back and release the logo and the website and everything all together and try to give us a new look.
It'd be great if we could get a preview of that maybe at our summer meeting. That'd be fun.
I can bring the website project has just begun, but I can definitely bring you a look at our new logo at the next meeting.
Or the meeting after that if it's more
sure.
complete. Yeah.
Yep.
So on the same topic as with regard to what's available where, could you address that?
Pretty similar to UI7. We do have a link on our website that is a live stream, but it's a pretty low bit rate. There's two options I think you can select to make it bigger, but the quality is not the greatest, so that's something we hope to upgrade at some point. And then we basically have a YouTube channel, and we put all of our programs there so people can access them there.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, moving on to the operator reports. Art or
Let's go to AT&T first.
okay, great. Or Jeff? Is it Jeff? Chris. I'm sorry, Chris. Chris is, I guess, the first. It really should be AT&T first because it's alphabetical.
I was thinking A before C.
But it's
Yeah.
Art, but Art's before
Yeah,
Chris.
it's kind of a
So
toss-up.
yeah.
So, good afternoon. It's nice to see everyone. For those who don't know me, Art Simberski. I work at Comcast just down the street here. So, just wanted to give you a highlight of some of the things we've been working on throughout the year and as we move forward. So, it's been a very busy year for us. And the first thing that was probably the biggest thing that we did this year was we rolled out our Emmy Award-winning X1 guide and platform. So, that's a whole new guide for us, and it's really kind of a game changer for us as far as really enhancing the customer's experience with our guide. We have apps on with that guide now, so really every TV that has X1 is really a smart TV. You've got different apps on there that you can interact with your TV with. We also added cloud DVR, so that gives you a lot more space to download things, and that also then gives you the ability to watch those things that you've downloaded anywhere, so on any device. So you can take your iPad or your iPhone if you want to squint and watch what you've downloaded onto that. So that's really pretty cool. We also just released a new feature that will change the way the blind or visually impaired people can experience TV. The new talking guide reads aloud the on-screen menu and navigation functions of our X1 platform. So customers can now search for a show, program their DVR, select a movie, all by just using their voice, and then it will be also spoken back to them what they're doing as they navigate throughout the interface. Also with the X1 remote, if you download the X1 smartphone remote, you can also command your TV through voice that way. So you can talk into your iPhone or iPad or Android device and tell your TV to change the channels or do whatever. I guess if you lose your regular remote, you could do it that way, or if the remote just isn't in the area, you could do that, but we've had people do that. And then we also have the Xfinity To Go app now that we have X1, where you can watch live TV. We have some live TV channels there, and then also watch on-demand content and DVR recordings. So those are the apps that you would use on, again, your iPhone, Apple or Android device or iPad or whatever it might be. We also have been currently working on Xfinity Wi-Fi hotspots. So over the last year, we have been adding Wi-Fi hotspots to our region, and in the country, we have over 8 million Wi-Fi hotspots now. So that's in conjunction with business owners who have our product who are putting out a Wi-Fi hotspot at a cafe or whatever it might be, or actual Wi-Fi hotspots that we've added to the community, maybe in a park or somewhere like that. So our customers with their, again, can use our Wi-Fi hotspots, and if you're a non-customer, you can also get certain sessions of that for free, and then after that start paying for them. So we're pretty pleased to be able to deploy that many Wi-Fi hotspots in a very short period of time. We've also added a new product this year called Xfinity Home. It really started out as more of a home security system, but it's really turned into more of a home automation product. So along with having the security system and alarm, you can now also monitor your home through cameras. You can get text alerts when somebody comes in your house. You can do all sorts of things, turn on and off the lights, change the temperature in the house, all through this device. And again, if you download the Xfinity Home smartphone app, then you can all do that all through your device as well. So if you're not unsure whether you turn a certain light off, or if you want a certain light off when you come home, you can do that ahead of time, or turn your temperature up or down. And we'll be releasing door locks to that pretty soon here too, so you'll be able to open and close your doors as well. So that we're pretty excited about that product. With the new Xfinity My Account app, you can look at your account, you can make a payment, you can even go through and look at your boxes and troubleshoot your boxes, and actually have a hit sent through your box on an app on your phone. So if you think it's something that you can just walk through to, maybe if you're having an interruption in service, something you can do, you could use your smartphone app to do that. We also have an Xfinity Connect app that allows you to have your email account. You can text through that app. You can also use your home phone if you're on Wi-Fi through that app. So you don't even have to be home. You could be out of the country, someplace that has Wi-Fi, and make a call from your home phone. That way it would look like your home. You could also get your voicemails that come to your home as well. So that's another pretty slick app out there. Altogether, we have about 12 different apps, and that's one of the ways we're trying to add value to our content, is really not only what can you do with your service when you're at home, but what can you do with your service when you're out and about, and those types of things. We also announced this year, actually last year, that Internet Essentials has been extended indefinitely. So if you remember, Comcast offers low-cost internet service for lower-income families for $9.95 a month for those families that qualify. That price never goes up as long as the family remains eligible. The program offers families the opportunity to purchase a computer for $150 as well. So really the main eligibility requirement is that one family member, one child, is in the National Free or Reduced Lunch Program. And we've added on to that too, as far as homeschooling and some other accredited agencies as far as what the requirements are. So obviously we know when kids don't have internet at home, it's much harder for them to do the homework, research projects. It's much harder for the parents to monitor their progress in school if they don't have the internet. If the family doesn't have access to the internet, the parents can't apply for jobs. When the internet comes into the home, it benefits the whole family. So low-income families who qualify for Internet Essentials, also who have a past due balance, we also implemented an amnesty program depending on the age of their bill. So we're trying to expand the people who are available for that program. Last year alone, the program connected over 1,000 families in Central Illinois and 33,000 families in the state of Illinois. So I'd be more than happy to. I think a question was out there about calls that come into the call center and then get directed back to the city. Is that correct?
That was the question, yes.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, is that a call center that's in Illinois, or is that a national call center?
All of our
first?
call centers, because we have call centers in Illinois and we have them all across, is to handle the call that comes in. It's not to revert any calls back to any municipality or really any other agency, whether it's an FCC fee, we don't tell them to call the FCC, whether it's a possible PEG capital fee or a right-of-way issue that may be specific. We have answers to all those questions. Now, obviously, if somebody keeps continuing to dig, again, we'll give them the best answer that we're able to get them, but we really should not direct calls back to anyone, and that's, I think I responded to Jeff, is that what I did is I take that information, not only do we try to handle the complaint, but we also try to send it to the group that is responsible for it and then send it to their leadership so they can possibly retrain somebody or work with them to make sure that they're giving out the best possible answers out there. So we kind of take it a little bit step farther. And I'd be more than happy to answer any other questions you might have.
I have one. What's the extra cost for the X1 and the cloud DVR?
So cloud DVR is not an extra cost, but X1 is depending on, there's the exact price depends on if you're upgrading to it, what promotional package, but really you can get the X1 coming in at just, it's really the device that's about $10 more, but really at the same regular package as you would a starter package. So it's really becoming our main product. We don't separate, we're not trying to sell another product. That's the main product that we're trying to bring customers in at, even at the, most starter level.
One other question. You contacted customers maybe a year ago about turning their individual cable boxes into Wi-Fi hotspots. Is that something you're pursuing, or do people?
So we have done that in areas, and so you can have that feature turned on or turned off. Right now, if you're an internet customer for us, you get 2 bands of internet signal, and then you have a separate signal that it just could make the signal in your house a Wi-Fi hotspot as well. That bandwidth that is being for the Wi-Fi hotspot by no means conflicts with the bandwidth that's being used in your home. And again, you have the ability to have that feature turned on, off or on.
I just wanted to clarify and ask from what Karen. So if you have an old cable box and you want the X1, it's basically $10 more. Is that what you're saying?
Just
or?
depending on what package you're in, but yes,
Okay.
it's generally sometimes depending on if you haven't been in a promotion and you're going into an X1 promotion, you may be able to reduce your cost by. It's because it's really the new product that's coming into the market.
Sure.
So,
I understand. I just was asking for people out there that might
Sure.
be like, I have an old box. What do I do?
Yeah, so you can go to Comcast.com and it'll tell you the individual pricing, and also if you just call in or come into our office, we'll be able to kind of, I'm not the expert as far as all the individual prices, but they'd be more than happy to walk you through exactly what it would look like as far as price goes.
Thank you.
I had a few questions. First of all, about the Wi-Fi. Can you explain a little bit about how people turn that on and off?
Sure. So you have to call in.
Okay.
You basically, I think you can do it through one of the apps as well, but I'm not 100% sure for that, or through the website through a toggle. But I'll have to double check with you for that, Peter. But it's mostly a call-in type of thing.
Okay, so in general, if you either want it on or you know it's on and you want it off, then you call in and they can.
Or you can stop into our payment center. They can do it as well.
Okay. The Xfinity Home stuff. So is that both a service and a set of hardware products that you sell?
That is correct. So so you buy the equipment if you so choose to, and that equipment can be used with other, if you leave our Xfinity Home product, some of that equipment can transfer over. But we have hardware, and it's all driven by our Xfinity network as well. So it's through the network.
Do you happen to know what the home automation standard you're using is, or is there one? Okay.
I don't. I'd be more than happy to try and get that for you if you like.
Just interesting. And lastly, regarding the Internet Essentials. So it sounds like you are addressing at least one of the problems that people had in the past, which was their outstanding old bills. The other problem that I've heard from people is that you have to not be a Comcast customer for 90 days in order to do that. So it's not really feasible to go from having Comcast normal service to having Internet Essentials. Is that still the case?
So just to clarify, a Comcast Internet customer, which
Comcast
is
Internet
correct.
customer,
So if
yes.
you're a cable TV customer, but you want to get Internet Essentials, the things are totally separate. I mean, so you could be a Comcast cable customer and get Internet Essentials right away. But yes, it is that 90, so if you want to, you currently have Comcast Internet in your home or even part of a bundle, you have to have not had Comcast Internet service for 90 days.
Okay.
It's been discussed. We're trying all, I mean, since the program started 3 years ago, we've increased the speed 3 times. We've expanded the number of families that are eligible. It went from free lunch to free and reduced to now to all different types of homeschool, things like that. So we get that concern. We get people who ask about it all the time. Obviously, we don't want to take away from what is our other products and services. So it's really this trying to have that balance where we have something for the lower income families, but still have a robust internet service out there for those families who want it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I understand your position, I think, but that is one of the concerns that I've heard most about it, because for a lot of people, you are their primary option, so they already have it, even if they can't necessarily afford it. Okay, so the other thing you mentioned then that you've increased the speed as well. What is the speed now?
So now it's 5 meg.
5 meg.
It started out at 1.5, went to 3, went to 5. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some type of change to that again and coming soon. So.
Okay. Lastly, there's been a lot of stuff in the news about FCC changes in regulation of both definitions of broadband and regulation of broadband entities, and thirdly, the making it possible for online companies to be cable companies. I think that's the basic one-sentence summary of that. Do you have any comment or anything you wanted to share about Comcast's position on any of those regulatory
really,
issues?
you know, as everyone, we're watching it closely. We feel that we are one of the few companies that has open internet, and feel that an open internet helps everyone because it spurs growth. It spurs more innovation on the internet. But some of the things that are out there, so net neutrality, open internet are not in themselves the same thing or as Title II. So I think we're just watching that landscape very closely to see what might happen.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, great. Thank you, Art.
Thank you.
And Chris from AT&T. That's right, right?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like an idiot.
Good afternoon, Ron.
Good afternoon. I apologize profusely for getting your name wrong.
That's all right. That's all right. So I'm Chris Warwick. I'm the Director of External Affairs for Central Illinois. I'm new to the position as of October, so having not done this report before, but I did have a few items that I wanted to go over in the UVerse product that we sell. We have had some upgrades in 2014. We did announce GigaPower, which is through our UVerse service. It's been launched in Dallas, Fort Worth, and some other surrounding areas where we offer a gigabit of download speed. And that is a product that we're looking for a couple more additional markets and looking to expand in 2015 with more cities to come. But those cities have not been announced at this time. We've also launched 2 new both football apps and also for 2 network. It's for the SEC and for the Pac-12. Those are probably not very popular here in Central Illinois, but those are launched, and that gives additional exposure for those 2, both the football conferences, and then we've also added 50 additional live channels to our UVerse app. Also, that gives us more than 200 live channels and an additional 50 live channels that could be viewed through the UVerse app on either a tablet or a smartphone. And then in 2014, we did receive 3 of 3 2014 Women's Choice Awards as America's most recognized brand among women for broadband television and phone service. So those are kind of some of the highlights that we have hit in the third quarter of 2014. And I guess I can open up to any questions and try to answer those to the best of my ability. Yes, sir.
Regarding GN, do you also provide the GN noon news? I saw that that's totally gone off the network.
WGN News?
WGN,
I was unaware that we're not carrying that anymore. That was probably a decision by WGM, and I can look in for that for you.
okay.
The 9 o'clock news you're referring to?
Yeah, noon, and I believe that they had the noon news, and not the 9 o'clock, but it was the noon news that they would air. And since there were changes in Comcast, I was just concerned and wondering what AT&T was doing regarding those changes of that particular station. But we're no longer getting that as well.
Okay, okay. And my understanding with the WGN was, much as Art from Comcast had explained, that their changes in the way that they are perceiving themselves has caused that downstream for the cable providers.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have anything similar to the Internet Essentials, or what is your lowest tier of Internet-only product that people can sign up for? If you have that any of that information, I'd be interested.
I don't have that information, but I can definitely bring it with me next time.
Okay, that'd be great.
And was that just internet only?
Yeah, I think that's the nature of it. I mean, you're welcome to talk about your television
Packages as well.
packages
Okay.
as well, but specifically any items either specifically targeted at low income or subsidized products. But also, I know that AT&T has always had kind of entry level services that aren't, that they don't require you to qualify for anything. You just sign up for them at the lower speed tiers. And so if you don't have any specifically targeted packages, I'd be interested to know your lowest priced tiers of service.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments for
Yes,
Chris?
I had one additional question. I do remember when AT&T was going to be adding additional services throughout the cities of Champaign and Urbana, and you were going to be putting on new boxes to cover certain areas that were not covered in the past. Are you still doing that, or are you no longer providing those new communities with services?
I think you're referring to the VRADs, that are in the right-of-way, correct?
Right.
We're constantly reevaluating the network and the expansion of the network. So at this time, I don't have any new announcements for those, but we are constantly looking at that to expand where possible.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Do you have a bulk figure on how much of Champaign-Urbana is covered by the UVerse footprint?
I don't have that information, and that would be actually proprietary information, which I wouldn't be able to provide even if I
Okay.
did have it, but I don't have that at this time.
Okay, thank you. All right, no other comments?
All right. Thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you.
Moving on, I don't have anything under new business. That means that there's nothing new to discuss as far as I know. Is that correct? Okay. And there's no one other than the operators in the audience, so we can move on from that, and we'll move on to commissioners' comments. Would anyone like to share anything with the public? Well, I'll share that I'm very happy to see so many of you here today. It's great to have a full slate of people. So,
We're still one down, though, right?
yeah, in Champaign, I think there's an open seat. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
And how do people go about applying?
They go to the, well, Jeff, feel free.
They would apply to the mayor's office, so they can contact the city manager's office or the mayor's office and fill out an application to fill the open seat for Champaign on the Cable Commission.
And is there a deadline on that
No, it's an open process, so
till it gets filled?
we're finding until we find the right person.
Okay.
And that application is also on the Cable Commission website. It's on the right-hand side of the screen there. So if you Google Champaign probably Champaign Cable Commission. It'll probably be one of the top spots there, but you'll want the one that's at the City of Champaign, not the City of Urbana, which is the technically official page for that. And it's a short application, so if you have any interest whatsoever, you should try it.
That's why I made an announcement.
Okay, I think that's it for today.
Jeff pointed out I made an egregious error in the fourth meeting date on our last agenda item. That should read January 21st, 2016. So
Okay.
if you could make that change.
So our next meeting is scheduled for April 16th, 2015, 30:30 at 3:30 p.m. Here in the Urbana City Council chambers. So you could come and you could sit and you could talk to us if you have a concern or question or wanted to bring anything up regarding cable or telecommunications. I don't think in the past I've read all the other dates, but I'm happy to. I think by the Open Meetings Act, we had to set our regular meetings, and these are our regular meetings for 2015. So the next one is April 16th, as I said. The one after that is July 16th, 2015 at 3:30, again, here in the Urbana City Council chambers. The final one is October 15th, 2015 at 3:30 p.m. in the Urbana City Council chambers. And then in 2016, there's one which is January 21 at 3:30 in the Urbana City Council chambers. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. This meeting is adjourned.